Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. As I mentioned in my last video that I will be posting small videos from time to time regarding Middletown Islamic Center because as most of you know by now that I have resigned from the position of MIC president, and just because I'm not a president of the masjid does not mean I cannot still work for the masjid and point out the problems which are faced by the MIC management and the problems which are faced by the community. I know that I moved in this community about 5 years ago. And when I moved here in this community, there were already some issues going on with the masjid. There was a lawsuit going on, which obviously had nothing to do with me because I wasn't there. I was not even in this county when the lawsuit happened. I remember my very first experience with Middletown Islamic Center. It was a Friday, my first Friday for Middletown Islamic Center. Me and my father, we were driving around in circles because for some reason my GPS was not picking up the location. Finally, we got to the masjid about 20 minutes into the khutbah. So I think the first khutbah we heard was only maybe 10 minutes long. And right after the Jummah was over, my father and I both had the worst experience of MIC on my first Jummah, very first Jummah in this masjid, back in 2013. When the police was called on some guy, some Pakistani guy, I don't even know his name. I remember his face. And police was called on him because he was saying something about some lawsuits. I have no idea what they were talking about. But anyways, he was put in a chokehold. He was dragged outside the masjid. And all that, was very traumatic to me and my father. My father told me the first day, he said, we will go to any other masjid, but come to this masjid. Why? Because here Muslims are fighting each other and there's a problem going on here and we don't want to be part of this. And I said, you know what, things happen. There's always disagreement and we will continue to come here. It's not a big deal. People, argue with each other, things happen, but it was very wrong for the individual to drag this brother by the neck, take him outside, call the police on him. And, they made a big scene and made the entire Pakistani community look bad, entire Bengali community look bad, entire Bangladeshi community look bad. Whoever is part of this community, that one call to the police department made everyone look bad. So we have to avoid these things. It is better to avoid the problem. And I knew that by me being on the board, this problem was probably heading towards the same issue. And I knew sooner or later down the line, somebody was going to call the police on someone and somebody was going to be in handcuffs. So I said, before it gets to that point and I am the person who causes that, let me just step down. So I did a step down. Alhamdulillah, led the new board. I hope they do a great job and they do things according to the MIC Constitution and according to Quran and Sunnah. Now that we're on the subject of MIC Constitution and Quran and Sunnah, why not talk about the MIC Constitution? So MIC Constitution, those of you who do not have the copy of the Constitution is only 15 pages long. That's not a lot. Trust me, it is not a lot. I think you spend more time on YouTube and on other social media, Facebook, than reading this 15 pages. It's not going to take you that long to read those 15 pages. So if you have a copy of the Constitution, it's great. If not, by all means, get a copy from the board because they should give it to you by law. Everybody needs to know what's in the Constitution and what the Constitution stands for. So if everybody is doing their job according to the Constitution. Constitution is nothing more than rules and regulations of the masjid. It is the law of the land that masjid is standing on. That's the law of this land, MIC. MIC law is this Constitution. And it's our job as Muslims to follow a constitution, especially for the masjid, because it is written by the people, for the people, and for the benefit of the community and the masjid. So you should all have a copy of this constitution in your hand. If you don't have it, ask me and I can email you the constitution, and you can read it then. So anyways, let's talk about the constitution a little bit. The first page on the constitution, Article 3 is the mission statement. Mission and vision. And the mission and vision, first thing they talk about is to promote the Islamic teachings based on Quran and Sunnah. Promote the Islamic teachings based on Quran and Sunnah. Okay, that's what the Constitution is telling you to do, that everything we do in this masjid has to be based on Quran and Sunnah. Okay, to arrange activities within the sanctions of Quran and Sunnah that benefit the Muslim community as well as non-Muslims. Okay, to strengthen fraternal bond amongst Muslims living in the greater Hudson. Strengthen the fraternal bond, meaning get to know each other, don't backbite, don't stab each other in the back, don't drag people by the neck outside the masjid and call police on them, because that's destroying the bond. That is destroying the Muslim bond. That's not strengthening the bond. Okay, so if you do that, now you have violated the Constitution, which is based on Quran and Sunnah. So you are also violating Quran and Sunnah if you do that to somebody. Okay, to make Islam better understood by non-Muslims. First page of the Constitution, Article 3. Okay, line 4. It says, to make Islam better understood, by non-Muslims. For last three Ramadan, 4 Ramadan that I've been here in this community, I have been begging the last board and the board before that to please invite non-Muslims from our neighborhood for Ramadan. Let them come here, eat with us, sit with us, see what we do, how we pray, what kind of food we eat, get to know us, get to know our children, our family members, our friends, let them know what the masjid is all about. We are not a whole bunch of terrorists. If that's how, people think of us. I know people, non-Muslims in our community don't think that we are terrorists, but it is our job to reach out to them. Because reaching out to non-Muslims and giving them dawah, that is also according to Quran and Sunnah. And I've been begging them. I said, let me invite few people. Let me invite few people from the street. 10 people. I'll go out on my own. I'll give them invitation cards. And I'll invite 10 families. Because we end up wasting so much food during Ramadan anyways. So why not invite somebody from our community, non-Muslims. Let them come eat with us. And you know what? It makes us look good. And we can have a bond with them as well. And we're doing Islamically 100%, legal stuff here. Why not? Oh, no. I've been told, no, we'll invite them next time. We'll do it next time. 3 Ramadans later, 4 Ramadans later. Okay, masjid has been here since 2008. And how many Ramadans are there? That's 11 Ramadans, 10 Ramadan at least minimum, right? 10 Ramadans. How many times did we ever invite non-Muslims to eat with us? Never. What are you waiting for? When are you going to do this? That was part of the thing that I was going to do. I made a whole list of things that I was going to do for this masjid. And one of those things was inviting non-Muslims. After watching this video, I am sure people on the current board will take something from this and take my advice from this and invite the non-Muslims this Ramadan. Invite at least 10 families. Okay, at least 10 families to come to the masjid and eat with us. So take my advice. So if you see Muslims start coming to this masjid this Ramadan, that is because the board took my advice, alhamdulillah. And I'm sure they'll do it, okay? Okay, next thing is the board of trustees. Okay, let's talk about board of trustees. I cannot finish the whole constitution in this video. So this is going to be a short video, no more than maybe 10 minutes long, 15 minutes long. Okay, the Board of Trustees administer and implement duties, responsibilities, and directives in furtherance of the purpose set forth for the MIC Constitution. Okay, the board shall have the authority to raise contribution to the MIC and to oversee proper appropriation of MIC funds. Let me read this again. Page 1 of the Constitution. The board shall have the authority to raise contributions to the MIC and to oversee proper appropriation of MIC funds. Proper appropriation, meaning the funds are used in the right place properly. Okay, if you're raising funds for a project, that money should go to that project. If somebody's donating money for sadaqah and zakat, that money should go to sadaqah and zakat. That money cannot go anywhere else. Okay? And everything we do has to be according to Quran and Sunnah. All right? That's the Constitution for you. First page of the Constitution. Okay, then it talks about 9 board members shall be elected through an election process. Page 2 of the Constitution says, the Board of Trustee position 4-1-2. Page 2 of the Constitution. And you should all have copies of that. I hope you have a copy of this Constitution when you're watching my video so you know what I'm talking about and I'm not making this stuff up. I read through this Constitution 20 times. I highlighted every single thing. Every single thing I highlighted, okay? And you should do the same thing. So you know what's in the Constitution, you know? Board of Trustees positions, 9 members selected through the election process as established within the MIC Constitution. So if somebody wants to become a president, a social secretary, a general secretary, a treasurer, how should they become a treasurer or any other positions on this Constitution? According to election process as listed in the MIC Constitution. That's how it should be done. Okay, but that's not how it happened. So let me tell you a little story. A month before the election, the general secretary from the last board, okay, approached me. Hafiz Fahim approached me outside. I was doing security for the children of the masjid. You know, I always volunteered my time for the masjid, and I was doing security for the children of MIC during Sunday school. So when I'm sitting outside, Hafiz Fahim approaches me, and he approaches 2 other individuals from the community, and they're both Pakistani. I don't want to mention the names here. I'm only going to mention the name of the person who approached me, and that was Hafiz Fahim. He approached me and he said, after I spoke with the other 2 Pakistanis, he approached me and he says, well, listen, you know, you're very active in the community, this and this, and so we were hoping that you can be on the board. I said, okay, well, that's a good thing, but I really have no intention of being on the board. I just have no intention. I said, I'm always here. I'm always helping the masjid. So there's no reason for me to be on the board. So Hafiz Fahim said, no, you know, you need to be on the board. And I told him, you know, with all due respect, I don't want to be part of any politics because there's so much politics in the masjid and I don't want to be part of that. He said, no, this is not talking about politics. Well, this is not about politics, man. This is not about politics. You know, you should be on the board and, you know, you should have one of the positions. So I said, well, what am I going to be doing on the board? You know, what position am I going to be? He said, well, it doesn't matter. You know, you and, you know, 2 other Pakistanis, a total of 3 Pakistani, they can be on the board, and we're going to find out some more people who want to be on the board. And then when we have 9 people, we will decide amongst ourselves, the 9 people that he's handpicking. He's trying to handpick me. He's trying to handpick 2 more Pakistanis. He's trying to handpick a whole bunch of other people, a total of 9 people. He's trying to handpick. Who is this person? He's the general secretary of the masjid. On the old board and also on the new board, he's the general secretary. So he's trying to handpick people. Why? So those people, 9 people, can decide amongst themselves who the president should be, who should be the vice president, who should be the general secretary, who should be the treasurer, who should be the education secretary, who should be the maintenance secretary, the communication secretary, social secretary, and religious secretary. So I told him, I said, what you're doing is 100% wrong. Who's authorizing you, the general secretary, to go from person to person recruiting people for these 9 positions, and then you're saying that these 9 people will decide amongst themselves who's going to be the president? Well, that's not what the page 2 of the Constitution says. I'm sure you guys are reading it backwards. For some reason on my camera, you guys are reading it backwards. Okay, it says on page 2, it says 9 members shall be elected through the election process as established within the MIC Constitution. There's a whole process. Who's authorizing this one individual, Hafiz Fahim, to go out and recruit these individuals for certain positions? And if you want to know the names of the other 2 individuals, ask me, text me, comment over here, and I'll give you those 2 names. I have no problem. And they will tell you the same thing, that he came and he was recruiting people for those 9 positions. That's not his job. Who is authorizing him to do this? Who gave him the key and say, hey, listen, go out and now you can do whatever we're telling you to do because that's your job. That's not his job. I'll read you his job description, that even the general secretary does not know what he's doing. His job description is very simple. Number 1, periodically reporting important events and activities of MIC to the members. Number 1. Number 2, preparing and circulating agenda before every meeting. Maintaining the list of members and volunteers for various functions, directing and supervising activities of the various groups, including the youth group, keeping the MIC registered as a non-profit religious organization. Okay, and then it says presenting at the board meeting, beginning of every board meeting, he should have the minutes from the previous meetings. That's his job. Who's authorizing this guy to come out and recruit people for 9 board member positions? That's not his job. People who want to put him for the position, they have to follow the Constitution. There's a whole lengthy requirement for that on how you go about doing this. You have to fill out an application that has to be signed by 2 other board members, and you have to be a paid member, and all of those things have to be checked before you can run for the board. It's a whole process. Who's authorizing this guy to do it? So I'm not going to go back and forth talking about him, but he was wrong for recruiting me, and that's why I said no to him. Later, I changed my mind, and I said, you know what? I'm going to run for the president and do things the right way, not the way he wants to do it, or people who are telling him that the way he should do it. I want to do things the right way, the Constitution way. Okay? And that's why I told him no, but later on, I ran for the elections. Another person ran against me. I had him disqualified, and alhamdulillah, I won. Okay? So now let's talk about a few other things. I don't want to make this video too long, guys. Okay? So Constitution, we talked about it. Make sure you guys have copies of that and know what's going on with the Constitution, so you don't, take people's word for it. You don't want to be the blind man and whatever people telling you to do, you just blindly do it. If someone tells you, hey, this is how we're supposed to do it, verify it. Okay, that's how we're supposed to do it, fine. I'll go to the Constitution and I'll verify it. If you're right, you're right. Alhamdulillah. If you're wrong, then you correct them. Okay, let's talk about the treasurer now, because I know I talked about the treasurer briefly in the last video. Okay, very important to talk about the treasurer. If you have a copy of the expense report for December 2017, okay, right now a copy should be posted on the bulletin board of MIC. For the January expenses for the last month, and the month before that, December 2017, I have a copy of that. If you guys want to see that, I can email it to you. Total funds for December 2017. Okay, total funds collected were $8,919. Okay, of which $3,869 came from Friday collection. Membership fee was $3,050. And other funds were $2,000, and that adds up to $8,919. Then when you look at the expenses, you'll see that the total expenses were $10,841. $10,841. So we collected $8,919 total for December of 2017. Total expenses were $10,841. And negative, so we went into negative balance of $1,922. Okay, so you may ask, why did we go into negative by $1,900? Maintenance expenses, snow removal in December, MIC paid, or the treasurer paid $1,350 for the snow removal in December. Why did we pay so much money for snow removal when in December we had 2 days of snow and we did not have more than 2 or 3 inches of snow? No more than 2 inches of snow. Not only $1,350 was paid, supposedly, for snow removal. Hopefully these people have the receipt, because last time I asked them, they had no receipt for $1,350 to show me, show you, anyone else that this expense took place. If you have an expense, you got to have a receipt. Whatever money we generate for MIC, whatever expenses we have for MIC, they should add up. We should have receipts for all the expenses. So let's say $8,919 was collected, okay, and expenses were $10,841. You should have receipt for every single expense that adds up to $10,841. Give and take, you give $25 to some poor guy there, you bought food for somebody, give and take, I'll say 100, maybe $200. Okay, let's say $200. So from $10,841, you should have receipts for at least $10,641. If you don't have the receipt, there's something going on. And I'm not saying anybody's stealing the money. The money is not going to the right place. Just like the Constitution says, appropriation of funds, it has to be proper. Money coming in, money going out, has to make sense. The math has to make sense. Math never lies. It has to make sense. But we don't have that there. Okay, then same thing going to the expenses. So I said $1,350 was for snow. Supplies was $825. Paper products, and I'm not making this up. You should have this in your phone, because I always take pictures of everything when I go to the masjid, especially financial stuff. So this is from December 2017 we're talking about. Supplies, $825 was spent on supplies, paper products. What paper products? We spending that much money on toilet rolls? $825 worth of that? Hopefully you have the receipts, alhamdulillah. You should have the receipts for that. If you don't, well, there's a problem. So all these expenses add up to $10,842. Then you have cleaning and other expenses. There's a column in that expense report that says cleaning and other expenses every month, $3,200. $3,200 of cleaning and other expenses every month? What are you talking about? I hope you have the receipt, because if you don't have the receipt, you're leaving yourself open for a big mess. And I hope these people have the receipt. So it's your job, community. It is your job to ask these people questions. I am not stopping anyone from making donations to the masjid. You should all make donations, a lot of donation for the masjid, because without your donations, masjid can't run. Somebody's got to pay electric bill, somebody's got to pay the heating bill, somebody's got to pay the gas bill, somebody's got to pay the water bill, somebody's got to pay property maintenance bills. Without the donations, the masjid cannot run. So I encourage each and every single one of you to make donations. But when you make the donations, you have 100% right to ask these people, hey, listen, I donated money for this purpose. Where's my money going? Can you tell me? I donated this much last month. Where's this money? Can you tell me? And they should be able to answer these questions and show you receipts for everything. If they don't, there's something going on, and you should question them and question yourself. Okay, you should definitely question somebody. Don't just take their words for it. Ask them. That is your job as a community. It is your responsibility to make sure that your funds are going in the right place. Okay. Other thing I'm going to mention before the time ends on this video is board meetings. The board meetings, you should ask the board members that every board meeting is recorded, so you know what has been said on that. Okay, what has been discussed. There should be no hidden agendas. There should be nothing that is secret from the community. Board meetings should be recorded. A matter of fact, the next board meeting is, I believe, end of February, the last Saturday of February. And that meeting is also going to be recorded, because there's someone in that meeting who is going to record it. And you and I will get to hear what was said in the meeting, inshallah. So every board meeting should be recorded. And you should demand that every board meeting is recorded, because by law, we need to know what was said in the meeting. And it is 100% legal to make recordings of a meeting as long as you are there. As long as you're not eavesdropping. Now, eavesdropping means you're not there, but you have a secret device sitting in that room, and now you're monitoring from home. Now, that's illegal. You cannot do that. But if you're sitting in a room with a little tape recorder, with your phone, you can record everything. And why should anybody worry about what is said in the room? Unless you're doing something illegal. If you're not doing anything illegal, you should not worry about being on the tape. You can record me all day. Look, I'm posting my video on YouTube for you to see. You can watch it, send it to other people. I have nothing to worry about. You know why? Because I'm not saying anything illegal. I'm not doing anything illegal. But if people are doing illegal things, they will worry. They don't want to be recorded. You know why? Because they know they're going to get caught, and they don't want the community to know what is going on behind the closed doors. So if you did nothing illegal in the meeting and nothing was said illegal in the meeting, then these people, those other 8 board members, 7 board members, they should have nothing to worry about. They should say, yeah, go ahead. We said nothing illegal. We talked about nothing illegal. Record all you want. So next board meeting, inshallah, will be recorded, and you and I will get to hear what was said in it. And hopefully they're not wasting time backbiting about other people and talking behind people's back. Their agenda should be masjid and masjid only. They should only talk about MIC, Middletown Islamic Center, and how to improve the quality of that masjid, what to do, what not to do, how to bring the funds up, what kind of projects are really needed, what kind of projects are just a waste of time. So all that good stuff, inshallah, will be recorded in the first meeting, because we have other board members, like I said, who will be recording the meeting. So I'm going to make this video short, and I'm going to stop at this, and inshallah, wait for me to post another video. If you subscribe to me, then every video I post, you will automatically get it. This way, you don't have to worry about me sending it over to you, or another person sending it over to you. Once you subscribe to me, inshallah, you'll get up-to-date videos right away. Okay, and hit the bell icon on the video itself. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Until next time we meet. Assalamu alaikum.